Hello, good morning. Today we'll start sliding contact bearing. First of all, I will read the syllabus. Sliding contact bearing, bearing material and their properties, bearing types and their construction details, hydrodynamic lubrication, performance analysis of hydrodynamic bearing by Raymond de Boyd method, and introduction to hydrostatic bearings, introductory treatment. Now, first of all, we'll see bearing materials. What are the different types of bearing materials used for sliding contact bearing? First of all, we'll see properties of good bearing material. The desirable properties of a good bearing material are as follows. First, when metal to metal contact occurs, the bearing material should not damage the surface of the journal. Sec- it should not stick or weld to the journal surface. Second, it should have high compressive strength to withstand high pressures without distortion. Third, in certain applications like connecting rods or crankshafts, bearings are subjected to fluctuating stresses. The bearing material in these applications should have sufficient endurance strength to avoid failure due to pitting. The bearing material should have the ability to yield and adapt its shape so that to that of the journal. This property is called conformability. When the load is applied, the journal is deflected, resulting in contact at the edges. A conformable material adjusts its shape under these circumstances. Fifth, the dirt particles in lubricating oil tend to jam the clearance space, and if hard, may cut scratches on the surfaces of the journal and wearing. The wearing material should be soft to allow these particles to get embedded in the lining to avoid further trouble. This property of the bearing material is called embeddability. In applications like engine bearings, the excessive temperature causes oxidation of lubricating oils and forms corrosive acids. The bearing material should have sufficient corrosion resistance under these conditions. Seventh, the bearing material should have reasonable cost and should be easily available in the market. The most popular bearing material is Babbitt. Due to its silvery appearance, Babbitt is called white metal. There are two varieties of Babbitts, lead base and tin base, depending upon the major alloying element. They are used in the form of a strip or thin lining about 0.5 mm thick, bonded to steel shells. Babbitts have excellent conformability and embeddability. Tin-based babbitts have better corrosion resistance and can be easily bonded to steel shells. High cost and shortage of tin are their main limitations. Babbitts, whether lead base or tin base, are inherently weak and their strength decreases rapidly with increasing temperature. Their use is further restricted due to poor fatigue strength. There are 10 grades of white metals and their applications are as follows. Grade 90 and grade 84 are used for bearings in petrol and diesel engines and in crossheads of steam engines. Grade 75 is used for repair jobs in mills and marine installations. Grade 69 is used in underwater applications and gland packing. Grade 60 is used in dynamos, electric motors, centrifugal pumps, and other medium speed applications. Grade 20 and grade 10 are used in low speed applications like concrete mixers and rope conveyors. Grade 6 is used in heavy duty applications like engine bearings, turbines, and crossheads of steam engines. Grade 5 is used for line shafting and in railway carriages. The chemical composition of these grades is given in table 16.4. Table 16.4, chemical composition of anti-friction bearings alloys. Now different grades are there. SN means SN, SB, antimony, PB, chromium, copper, and zinc. Therefore, for different grade 90, 84, 75, 69, 60, 20, 10, 65, different compositions are there. The other bearing materials are bronze, copper, lead, aluminum alloys, and plastics. Compared with Babbitt's, bronze is cheaper, stronger, and can withstand high pressures. It has got excellent casting and machining characteristics. Bronze bearing is made as a single solid unit. The main drawback of bronze bearing is its tendency to stick to the surface of the journal at high temperatures. Copper lead bearing 70% copper and 30% lead are used in the form of a thin lining like white metal. They have more hardness and fatigue strength and are used in heavy duty applications at high temperatures. Tin aluminum alloys have higher fatigue strength and they retain their strength even at high temperatures. They are used in engine bearings. There are certain non-metallic bearings like graphite, plastics, and rubber. For high temperature applications, conventional bearings with lubricating oils cannot be used. In such cases, bearings made of pure carbon, graphite are employed. Teflon has an extremely low coefficient of friction and requires no external lubricant like an oil. They are particularly useful where the bearing is located at an inaccessible position or where the lubricating oil is likely to cause contamination, such as bearings for food processing machines, etc. Rubber is used as bearing material in marine applications. Sintered metal bearings. Sintered metal powder bearings are made from compressed metal powder by the sintering process. They are porous bearings impregnated with lubricating oils. They can absorb lubricating oil to the extent of 20% to 30% of their volume. This oil serves as a reservoir, enabling the bearing to run for a long period without any attention. They can be refilled with oil by soaked felts or weak feed lubricators at periodic intervals without dismantling. There are two grades, copper base and iron base of sintered bearings. A copper based material has more corrosion resistance compared with iron based material. The permissible bearing pressures load per unit of projected area of copper base and iron based bearings are 60 Newton per m square and 100 Newton per m square respectively. They give a satisfactory performance of up to 80 degrees Celsius. Sintered metal powder bearings are used in automobiles, textile machinery, and machine tools. Now, bearings construction. There are different types of bearing constructions or construction of bearing. There are two types of bearing construction, solid bushing and lined bushing as shown in figure. This is solid bushing, this is lined bushing. A solid bushing is made either by casting or by machining from a bar. It is then finished by grinding and reaming operations. A typical example of this type of bushing is bronze bearing. A lined bushing consists of steel backing with a thin lining of bearing material like Babbitt. It is usually split into two halves. See that this groove is there. This is the lining. This is steel backing. This is oil hole. There are two basic types of patterns of oil grooves, circumferential and cylindrical. A circumferential oil groove bearing as shown in figure A in effect divides the bearing into two short bearings each of length L by 2. The pressure developed in the bearing along the axis is reduced due to the groove as shown in figure B. This results in a lower load carrying capacity. The centrifugal force acting on the oil in the circumferential groove may build pressure higher than the supply pressure, which may restrict the flow of the lubricant. Circumferential oil groove bearings are used for the connecting rods and crankshafts of automotive engines. Now this circumferential oil groove bearing. See that this is circumferential oil groove. This is bearing without groove, bearing length, oil pressure. See that in case of groove bearing, oil pressure decreases. In case of bearing without groove, oil pressure is higher. The cylindrical oil groove bearing, as shown in figure, has an axial groove almost along the length of the bearing. It has higher load carrying capacity compared with the circumferential oil groove bearing. However, it is more susceptible to vibrations known as oil whip. Cylindrical oil groove bearings are used for gearboxes and high speed applications. In practice, different patterns of oil groove are obtained by the combination of cylindrical and circumferential passages of the oil. See that this is cylindrical oil groove bearing. This is the oil groove. It is of cylindrical shape. This is the oil hole. The principle of an oil ring bearing is illustrated in figure 16.32. It consists of an oil ring in contact with the shaft and dipping in the oil bath below. The diameter of the oil ring is large compared with the diameter of the shaft. As the shaft rotates, the oil ring also rotates, although at a considerably lower speed, and carries along with it the oil from the oil bath to the shaft. There are spreader grooves which carry the oil to the entire surface of the shaft. The use of the oil ring bearing is restricted to horizontal shafts. Therefore, this oil ring bearings is only useful for horizontal shafts. When the shaft will rotate, bearing will rotate, and since this oil ring is inserted in oil bath, it will carry some oil every time during rotation, and that oil will be spread along the length of the shaft automatically. Now, this is the nothing but next point is Raimondi parameter that we will take in next lecture. Please enter your numbers. We will stop here. Thank you very much.